Good morning, happy Monday. Today we're talking about color filters and chroma keys in OBS production. Some of you, when you watch internet broadcasts, think to yourself, how do they do it? How are they able to appear on screen with nothing else behind them? Is George Lucas behind this production? Well, in a way, yes. George Lucas has catapulted so much technology into the future that we're still enjoying the benefits of his pioneering days. And the crew that works with him, or at least continues his legacy, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, what they're able to do with technology and video capture is mind-blowing. But we're going to make things small and easy for us in our home studios. Number one, this is going to be using OBS, so make sure you have OBS downloaded. And we're going to be talking about different settings, first of all, for your camera and for the green screen, which is behind me. You're going to want to go into your sources in OBS, right-click on your camera, and hit filters. Again, there's so many different options that are available in OBS to fine-tune color and all sorts of things. But number one thing when it comes to green screens, you can fine-tune as much as you can in the software, but you have to have good lighting. You got to make sure your green screen is lit behind you to prevent shadows and for better capture. So make sure you have good lighting for your green screen. The current lighting setup that I have right now, I have a key light here, and then my fill light is over here. My fill light is actually filling all the light onto my green screen. Once I expand the studio room a little bit bigger, I'll need to get a third light for my key fill for talent, and then a third dedicated light just for the green screen. But in the smaller setup I have right now, the intimate setup I have right now, this works totally fine for me and works for a lot of home studio producers. So this is the settings that you want to open up in OBS. Then this is what your preview video is going to look like, or the image is going to look like. On the left, there are no filters or transformations whatsoever. On the right, that's where the filter is hit just right, so I'm going for that neutral gray color in the preview screen. Now don't worry about the images on the sides or the fill behind the sides, because we can always transform and crop out any length or any image past the green screen area so it doesn't show up on camera at all. So that's what we're going for. That top right image, that solid gray behind me, that's the type of color scheme that you want. So how do we get there? Under Chroma key, there's going to be those filters. In the settings for these filters, you have to really fine tune them. Similarity and smoothness are the two filters, or the two settings you're gonna finagle with the most. The color scheme, color type is green because my screen is green, but you can use blue screens. You can pick the color. The color just has to be, solid. I have green on this shirt, but it's not gonna show up because I have it as green, which is fine with me. Fake business. Shout out to Tim Dillon. Make sure to check out his amazing comedy. The toughest part about this is getting it just right, so you don't have any black shadows or little tears happening. And again, similarity and smoothness are the two settings that you're gonna have to adjust the most. And it can be one or two numbers sometimes. So take the time that you need in order to find the perfect picture for you. After that, we can figure out what we want to do for the rest of our video scene. So this is an example from my Mortal Kombat stream. I am in front of a green screen with a color filter on, so you don't see the green screen behind me, and I blend into the video image. But in the bottom left-hand corner, I also have another source that I've used a color scheme on in order to take out the background and have that source blend into the video. And that is the track name and the artist name from Pretzel Rocks, which you see in the bottom left-hand corner. That's something that I have to put together. It's not a plugin or anything from the software developer. They do have some plugins with other streaming software, but it really wasn't too hard to put this together. So let me break down the steps. First, you need to capture the window. So your source is going to be a window capture, and I'm capturing the window of Pretzel Rocks, the software. It's a software box on the computer. I load on a different monitor. I have it in the bottom left-hand corner. That is going to be the source that we're pulling from, that window. Now that we have it open, this is what the window is going to look like without any color schemes or transformations in the top left-hand corner. What I want to capture is the track name and the artist name. So I go into transform, which is a setting that when you right-click the window, when you right-click the source, you go to transform. And here I can put in the exact numbers for the position that I want, but I can crop the left, crop the right, crop the top, crop the bottom. So that way only the title and the artist name is displayed in the box of information that I want. Once I have that perfected and have it in the exact spot that I want on my source or on my OBS source to what's being broadcasted to the world, then do I go in and change the color schemes. And the color scheme, again, it's the small little settings that you have to work with, but this window has a bit of a darker gray, half black, half gray black background. So first we have to find that color. I went to custom color and then select on the area that I wanted to blend into the background. And it gave me this color number under the custom color, but you can click the area of the window, the color that you want to key out. Then under similarity and smoothness, I found the exact setting that made sure that that background was nullified. But you have to be careful, because if you try to go way over in the setting, then even the white of the artist name and the track name started to disappear, or the edges started to disappear. So it takes fine tuning to get it right. And I even noticed 2 weeks ago that the box I had displaying the artist information wasn't 100% blending into the background. So I had to go in, change the similarity, change the smoothness just by a couple numbers, then blow it back up again, double check, and voila, it looked great. So these small little details are what make all the difference. And at the end of the day, we're going for, pristine, blends in perfectly with the back of with the game. So the game background and the title in front don't mesh, and there's no weird outline going around it. Production value. So to review, let's go all the way back. When we're dealing with cameras and green screens, you want to open up your camera settings, check out the filters, then under the filters you want to finagle those settings, other smoothness and similarity based off the color that you're using, the specific type of green which is behind me, but you can use another green screen color. And you're going to want to test the settings, similarity and smoothness, until you get that neutral gray. And then you can test it in your setting with whatever background you're using it against. It could be an image, a video game, whatever. But that's the best way to get your green screen dialed in. Remember, make sure that it's lit properly. Have a light hitting the green screen behind you so you don't have any shadows. And that's the best way you're going to get that clear picture. I've seen so many people, even YouTube personalities that I've followed for years, and they get a green screen for the first time and it's clunky and they didn't light it right. There's these weird shadows. So you got to make sure you light it properly. Okay. So test the settings. And then when you want to test other things like windows or apps or anything that you want to display, you can color scheme it in order for it to appear the way that you want it to, but it just takes time. It takes time to figure it out. So give yourself the time to figure it out. And again, any window, any source, you can add color keys to it. That's what the source looked like when we got started. There's a transformation for cropping, and then there's the color key that we're able to get rid of that darker gray color and get that lighter gray color, and that allows us to have that type of picture. Surprisingly, it took me a little bit of time to figure it out to get the settings dialed in just right, but as I've stated multiple times in this video, sometimes it's just a few numbers. I'll go by 5s or 10s in other settings, but just go by 1, 2, 3 and check it out and blow it up. Make the preview screen look big so that you can have better eyes on it, even though it's going to appear smaller on other people's screens when they watch on their phones or their computers or whatever. Double check, blow it up, check the pixels, and make sure that it looks great. And there you go. That's how color scheming and all sorts of fun little settings you can have in your OBS setup to have a great production. And that does it for today's vlog. This is my schedule for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Here's my schedule for the week. Today we're live 8 to noon. So Monday and Tuesday we're doing Mortal Kombat. Wednesday it's a variety stream. I'll try to be as live as soon as I can since I have fitness meetings in the morning on Wednesday. Maybe around 9, but we're going to check it out this week to see what the schedule looks like naturally. But Thursday, Friday, we're live again. 8 to noon to the moon with more Mortal Kombat 11 Combat League featuring Sindel. I had a lot of fun last week with all the different endeavors we had learning Sindel, but we were also able to help Beyond Toxin and his family raise the money needed to save their home, and I'm happy to say they did hit their goal of $20,000. So congratulations to them, and a huge thank you to all of the FGC that helped to make it possible. Hoo-wee. Next week, we'll figure out what we're going to talk about. I don't know if it'll be a production thing or more of a life blog, but I've had a lot of fun putting together this information to help people understand how democratized technology has become to make your own home studio productions. Thanks as always for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you online.